Hey, good morning. I just finished a Toastmasters meeting via Zoom. The winning speech today was about emotional immaturity. I wanted to write some of the things down while he was speaking, but I didn't. I wanted to relay them here, but I'll just relay the ones that I have on memory. And this guy was talking about how vitriolic things have become, largely because of social media. And some of the things he mentioned were, he listed 10. So one of them, the last one, the most important one, was arrogance. The idea that I'm right, you're wrong, shut up. Not considering the fact that other people could have a point of view or that it could possibly be correct. So that was one. Another is have empathy. When you have empathy, it's not sympathy. Sympathy is like, oh, I'm sorry your grandma died. But empathy is being able to put yourself in the person's shoes, at least for a minute or a second, and think, I wonder how they might feel. And when you do that, it's not no longer totally me-centric, and it's focused on somebody else. And then that helps to bring down the walls between people. Because when somebody is firmly entrenched in this position, someone's firmly entrenched in the other position, they now see themselves as enemies. And therefore, there's no aspect or ability for connection. But a little outreach can diminish a lot of conflict because it shows a little bit of concern, a little bit of care. And if you think about how this works between countries, between people, between political parties, between people of any two groups, between two people in and of themselves, if they take it to the furthest, where it's absolutely focused on their position, which is oppositional to the other one, you can have world wars, you can have horrific fights, you can have horrific relationships because your mind is very intelligent, very intelligent. You can direct it towards anything. You can direct it towards creating, horrible weapons of destruction. You can direct it towards making great instruments of peace. You can direct your life in any way that you want. And your mind is going to follow. Your mind has the power to do a lot of stuff. So when it goes in the direction of oppositionality, oh man, and the more oppositional you are, the more oppositional the other person's going to get. So a little bit of empathy to start with can bring down these barriers, and therefore people can start to work together. Yeah, and they can direct their intelligence to making constructive solutions, to finding better ways, and more importantly, to feeling love within themselves, which translates onto the other. Love for the other, love for themselves, working together at the same time. So, all right, what did I say so far? Arrogance, empathy. Social media allows people to say stuff that they would never say in person. He said that, in school, if somebody is like, if there's a nerd and someone pushes like, hey, nerd, the person knows what they did, right? And then they'll feel bad about it. Nobody feels good really pushing somebody or beating them up or anything. But in social media, you don't see anything, right? So much communication is nonverbal, right? Body language, intonation. Social media is just a wall of text, right? And you can't see the consequences of what you're doing to somebody. And as a result, you can say whatever you want, and there's no consequence. There's so much shouting that happens on digital walls that people just wouldn't say to the other person because they have a little bit of empathy, at least in person, because you can see the reaction on the person, and also they'd be too scared, right? Like, would you go shouting all these things at somebody if they're right in front of you? No, but the digital wall, the anonymity behind the keyboard gives you a layer of protection that can be quite dangerous, actually. So what else did he say? Boy, I don't remember. Those three are good food for thought for now. Emotional immaturity. Imagine if, I think there's this idea of if everybody operated like me, things would be good. Right? If everybody just listened to what I said and the way I do it, things would be good. That's number 4, which is again a sort of egocentrism. And he says, make sure that You know that other people, again, have their own perspective, they have their own minds, and they could be right. You'd be surprised how much words can affect people. Some speeches, Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, JFK's Moon speech, his peace speech to the Soviets, they led to big changes. And these were just singular people delivering a speech between 10 and 30 minutes. And what was it, a collection of a few thousand words each, delivered well to the right audience, lead to big changes. I watched a TED Talk 2 months ago about how words can build nations, build relationships. They can also destroy nations and destroy relationships, right? So I wouldn't say be careful in the words you say. I'd say it's more important to speak truthfully and be aware that your words can have a huge impact. They can have the impact to craft and shape a really good life. They also have the ability to craft and shape a really bad life. And very often it's a one-to-one relationship between the toxicity of a person's words and the toxic environment that they create around themselves, versus the love and goodness in someone's words and the goodness they create around themselves. Because in many ways, in many situations, you and your surroundings are one and the same. The people you surround yourself with are many times just reflections of the thoughts in your head, and the way in which they interact with you are reflections of the thoughts in your head. And it always takes two to tango with anything, any good or bad relationship. And you have the power with your words and with your thoughts and with your intentions to change the world. Starting right here, really small, right here, and then just what's around. What's around? Is that good? Is that nice? Is that clean? Is this how I want it to be, right? Then that reflects, it becomes part of you, and it carries forward. There's a tennis coach I met, probably a few tennis coaches, and they say, Jay, I can tell how good a tennis player is from the second they step on the court, the way they put their bag on the bench. Not from the first shot they hit or the way they walk to the baseline, but from the second they step on the court. Why? Oh, why is that? Because you carry everything within you. You can, your manner, your everything, and you can't craft it. You can't build it, immediately. It's a process of habits. The habits that you have form who you are. And your words, your thoughts, your intentions make a big difference. So if you can consciously direct them in a good way, that can go a long way to helping yourself and the world. And if every person is doing well individually, if they can craft a beautiful sphere within themselves, how much better would things be everywhere? How much less would we have to worry about other people, about what somebody might do, about what somebody might say? Because everything is just better. Imagine living in a really dangerous world in which it's very unsafe, like really unsafe. If everything is very unsafe, you're going to feel unsafe and you're going to be guarded. Imagine if everybody around you hated you. You're going to hate them, probably, most probably, and you'll be defensive. There'll be no opportunity or aperture for love, beautiful artistic expression, or so forth, right? Because you'd be defensive because everybody's a threat. Right? Now contrast that world to a world where everybody loves you. Everybody, right? You'd be free, you'd be open, you'd be so many things. So many things better because you're reacting off the environment, right? So the way to craft a better environment is not to hope that other people do what you want or adhere to your wishes or just love and accept you, but it's to start within and do those things yourself, right? To tolerate different viewpoints, to look at things with a little bit more neutrality while you can still maintain your opinions, to extend love. Oh, this is another one. Not separating a person from their viewpoint, right? Like in Christianity, they say, hate the sin, not the sinner, right? So when you link completely somebody with their views, if their view is oppositional, then that person is oppositional, they're an enemy. And that's not good. It's important to be able to have friends of all different types and viewpoints. So again, all the changes start within, and when each person does this, things get better. But more importantly, when one person, which is you, do it, it gets better. So let's all strive to make a better and more emotionally mature world. I hope you like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please share it with others who'd like it too.